So welcome back to part 2, strip down. We've just got the engine put on the stand, ready to start, basically taking all of it apart. Once that's all done, we've got to lay it all out on the table so it will go back together logically. But yeah, pretty much just take it all apart tonight and then we'll inspect everything, get a plan put together for the next stage. Yeah, hope you enjoy the video. Well, that's a problem.
Good.
How does it explain the clutch problem?
Well, that could explain the clutch problem, couldn't it? That could explain why your clutch is worn as much as it
What's
is.
happened there then?
So that's...
So the crank, if you look at the other end where the flywheel goes on,
if you look down there,
you'll see the crank's moving backwards and forwards. It shouldn't have that sort of amount.
In short, I have legitimate excuses, basically.
That's a transit one.
No, I know, but I wonder what
It's not a transit. That pulley, so the puller will grip into there and then push on the middle, so it will basically do that.
And pull it out.
That's the plan anyway.
get well in hand at the same time. Hopefully we can get it to go pop off. Try and go on one of your bolts, mate, rather than across your cover, because you don't want your foot cover. There she is.
Wise.
I think we should have polled down on your engine block colour.
Yeah.
Green, pink, or pink.
Black.
I think you should do it pink.
What are you doing, pink?
It's a block, engine block.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, is there a kit for it? If not, then we don't really...
Yeah.
But if there is, are we marking it up? What way do you want to go with it?
Is this quite an important bit, this? If you get this wrong,
when you put it back together, so your valves, as your piston comes up, compresses, your valves will open, fuel and air will go in, the valves will come up and close, and the piston will come up and compress it all, and then the spark plug will ignite it. If you get that wrong, the valves will stay open, piston comes up, hits it, bends them. The other side is, that's if it's extremely out, which has got to be a long way out, but if you don't have it a bit like bang on, then you'll suffer in performance for it. So it's got to be not on. Otherwise, it can lose a fair bit of power out of the time of being wrong. That chain, that's your crankshaft that's operating your pistons.
Yeah.
That's your camshaft sprocket that's doing your valve train. So those two have to stay in time with each other. That does 2 turns to 1 turn of that.
You go wrong.
Okay, so we'll just whip the chain off then. You're not timing. It's not a problem, is it?
No.
Timing is going to be tough. Everything's got to come out anyway. The crank's going to have to come out.
Yeah.
Explains where your swarfs come from, doesn't it?
I mean,
That's your main end. That's
most trophy engines will do half the season.
This is your tension of your chain. So you'll see.
It's just hope
So the more I take it out,
the
more slack we get on the chain.
Thrust bearer,
So then once that plug comes out,
You can see the chain's really loose now.
yeah. So that's how that will work, as that'll hold
in.
pressure up against the chain, holding it tight all the time. So you can imagine how that would sound if
So
it
some
was,
like you obviously get belt. So that normally another car would have a belt there rather than a chain.
yeah, it depends whether it can be a dry belt. Now you've got belts, sorry. Now you've got wet belts involved, timing chains, but none of them are particularly well made anymore.
I'll leave that in, but I'm just going to bleep it.
Go on, muscles.
Well, you could have got
Jesus, that's a
you
way
could
to
have
go
got,
down.
you could have got a bigger ratchet as well, to be fair, didn't you? Nice half-inch ratchet on there would have been nice, wouldn't it?
I've got. Go on, put your whole 7 stone on it. Yay! Right.
I miss working on stuff like this.
There's no F, no jet.
I'm camera ready.
One chain.
We can unbolt the head without taking the rocker stuff.
May as
to
well
be fair.
take them off, mightn't we?
I say, may as well, because the cam will come out then.
Do you want to write?
Yeah, I would more.
So they are, and there's nothing on them that says anything, is there?
What F?
Right, Bill, you probably want to mark these for your cam. Just so we get them in the right order. This is cam's worn into them.
We'll grab hold of it.
Oh, mate.
What torque have these done to?
Not a lot.
Watch.
I'm surprised you got any compression.
I don't know how it's as good as it is.
This car's going to fly next year if we put it all back together properly.
Yeah,
Just do the
I actually have genuinely.
got
You'll get a bit more of an idea. You'll see the pistons once the head comes off, so you'll get a bit more of an idea what sort of condition everything's in. Go on, it's your engine, you do the lift. This bit is going to come up here. This will be the that's the gasket to separate.
Ready?
Yeah.
right, don't they?
So what are you looking for here? You just
So this is your bore, so if you had any scores or anything up here,
yeah.
any like gouges in it, you'll lose compression. So this is the piston comes up, squeezes air and fuel into a tiny little gap. So when it ignites it, it goes, by the fact it's compressed, it pushes that piston back down. Now if you've got any leaks down the side or any, this isn't nice and in a nice condition, you'll lose that compression down the side of the piston. The more of that you lose, the more power that you're losing all the time. So just looking at all the bores, and they should look, you're looking for a big lip up here, which is a sign of wear.
Yeah.
And then any scores or anything in the bit that like looks mirrored anywhere all the way around that. That should, these look really nice to be fair. I mean, in nice condition.
As long as that's okay on the thing, you'll be alright.
Which is a good sign. Because you're squeezing fuel and air into that gap,
Yeah.
the smaller that gap, the piston's got to come up to the top. The piston will come up to here. You can't adjust that, that's regardless. So what you can do, you're talking thousandths of a millimetre, but you can take the head off so that that gap between the head and when the piston hits its top is smaller, so it's under more and more compression. So when it explodes, it's got more power throwing it down.
Oh.
But you're basically going to send the head off to have it refreshed.
Yeah, it'll be refreshed, checked.
Are you pulling the sump off?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, hello. So now the sump will come off and you'll see all the crankshaft and the connecting rods to the pistons.
Right, the moment of truth is.
I mean, I think it'll be in fairly good condition. It's just going to have wear in there, which, to be fair, these engines were designed to go to test. They were never designed to be flat out at red line for 6 consecutive race seasons. So it's not really a surprise that, like, considering what it's been through, it's in really good condition. So that's your oil pickup, and see there's metal swarf in there, so signs of engine wear there. You see those shiny bits. So that'll be from the soft bearings. So in between, these are connecting rods, and then you've got the crankshaft in the middle, and they have a soft metal bearing in between. So the glittery bits are bad news.
Yeah, so all these little bits here.
If it looks pretty, it shouldn't be there.
It's really like, look at that, it's like...
So the inflow we mentioned earlier, this is what we're talking about, and the problem, it shouldn't have that.
It shouldn't move at all.
It should have a little bit, but we're talking like minuscule. You'd only just be able to see it. You certainly shouldn't have that clunk in its movement.
One was tight.
Broke my socket. You just broke my socket, didn't you?
He just dropped it in there.
That's it.
No one else has dropped anything in there.
Oh, he's rounded it.
You had one job.
One job.
Are they so soft just because of where they are? Or are you just too heavy-handed?
Let's not go there, right?
Do you reckon to get a 9 on there? Bang
That right. I did just...
Okay. Like that.
Give it a try.
It's down enough. That's the 10mm one, but Jesus, that one's tight.
It's tight on the head. Look at this bit here. This is what I meant. This is the soft metal bearing that sits in between the crank and the cap. So there's half of one in the bottom, half of one in the top, which as it is going to come out. You can see your first piston out the bottom.
Good, light to tap down.
And there's your first piston. And there are the piston rings.
Do you have to put those new ones in? For that?
Yeah. So the bottom one is your oil control, then your top to do with compression, and that's what sealed that bore nicely against that.
Oh, so when you're saying the bore needs to not be slight?
Yeah, because you'll get a leak down the side of there.
Yeah, so
but these are under tension, if you like, so they spring out and hold it against the bore to get the best seal they possibly can. And they sit in there and they're a softer metal to protect.
At least it's not bad.
We'll try and protect the crankshaft, so if anything goes,
it'll be them
it'll be them because they're a softer metal.
So that metal that was in the sump would be all from these parts?
It's probably going to be from, you've got the same sort of thing in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're called the main ends. But they're probably going to find it's more going to be from them by the fact that it's got so much end float in the crank. Come out and that will release the crank. The crank will come out and then we'll just be left with a bare basic block.
How do you know what torque settings you've got to be on? Will there be like a...
Got it all on auto data, so we'll put, well normally you'd put its reg in, but auto data has everything on there, what the torque specs of every bolt is. So a lot of them will be torqued and then have a certain number of degrees of turn. So it'll be like 120 Newton meters, then 90 degrees and stuff like that. Go.
There she goes. Come on, they'll be back.
Probably on a dowel somewhere along the line.
It's over here.
It's all there, isn't it?
How comes round punter make it look really easy and everything you do looks really difficult?
Story of my life, to be honest.
Professionals.
And then, come on, it's your engine. Lift that crank out. Here we go, now he's going to cross-thread the crank.
Still stuck in there.
It's been rubbing on it.
It has been rubbing on it, but does that mean it's worn the crank and stuff?
Unlike this, it's softer metal, which should be.
Yeah, but appreciate that.
Huh? I mean, just see the grooves left, and that's the other side with a bit more how it should look.
Before and after?
Yeah. And then you've got the same sort of things that protect the crank, which are called main ends when they're in the crank, but they do the same job, basically the same thing as the big ends.
And the hull lines up with the hull, and that allows the oil to go through and lubricate it.
You get some idiot to put it in
Wrong way round.
that way round, and then that engine lasts about 5 minutes. And it's in the bin. That's your main oil supply into your crank, and it will go along the crank and it will come out on the connecting rods and everything else. So it's not just a little bit that dribbles in, there's a lot of oil comes through there, runs through the crank.